general experience at camp has been really fun because I got to learn not only about God but about friendship and about how to communicate and how to be around others, especially in hard times. And that's just been a really helpful experience for me, especially when you find God, and songs and a lot of the games as well. And that's just been a lot of the fun experiences at camp.
By my experience at Bible camp is through my singing. When I feel joy in singing camp songs and sending off our prayer boats.
I was raised in a family of 4 kids and we couldn't afford camp. And so my older brother got to go to camp, and we got to go to camp to take him to camp, and that was at Lake Ponset. And my sister and I went into the church there, the chapel there, and I just felt the presence of God there. And then we couldn't afford camp, so I never got to go to camp. And so then later on, I met Scott Jensen, and he came for Camp Sunday, and I asked him about doing a camp for special needs people, and he said, "Yeah, you're doing it." And I said, "Okay, I've never been to church camp before." So with the grace of God, I got to do it. And so I started the Circle of Friends West in 2003. And I had a few people from the training center come, and one of the clients from the training center was afraid to cross the threshold of one of the cabins. That's just the way he was. He was afraid to cross that threshold, but he finally crossed it, and then he came out, and he sat down on the steps of the cabin there, and he said, "Look at that tree, look at that rock, look at that, look at that." And he was just amazed, and that was it. That's all I needed, you know. The glory of God was there, and I felt His presence completely there.
My favorite part about the worship services is all the energy, because people usually tend to sometimes get out of control, but that's okay because that's what we're supposed to do at a camp. It's a lot about fun and worshiping God, and a lot of the songs there have good messages, especially the energy, and that's why I love the energy at camp, especially with worship.
And I said the songs.
When me and Pastor Scott singing songs together, when he helped us lead us in singing.
When I would experience God personally, it would be when we would go to bed, because that was the majority of the time where I could think about my experiences during camp and about the message, especially during quiet time and while I was sleeping. It was just a good, nice time for me to think, and I would also pull out my Bible sometimes and think about God then and read the scriptures and try to get the general idea of God, and that's where I felt Him most.
I think I experienced God through the camp counselors. I think that was when I met my friends at camp, because I think that my friends really just helped me through like the challenges through camp, and I think that was a really fun experience and life-changing.
And it's the fun and fellowship I take with me, that I remember all the fun times I have up at camp?
I went from a camp of, I think we had maybe 4 or 5 campers, and we're now up to 25, averaging 25 campers. So, and it's been a blessing.
Yep, so a life changer experience. Let's see, my first time I was at LTC, the silent night service we had there, it hit home, because someone was talking about a pretty intense moment that they went through, and it all kind of revolved around forgiveness and how they learned how to forgive and truly forgive, even like their enemies. And it just kind of hit me, especially part of it was also not only should we forgive, but we should also cherish moments with family, and just really hit me home. It really hit home with me, and that night I don't think I'll really forget it. I was down by the beach, and then I was in prayer, and I just felt like God was right there with me. That was a really cool moment, and I think every single silent night I had a moment like that, where I was just in good prayer and really just laying down like all of the things that were going through my mind, everything that was happening, and just like real honest prayer with God. And every moment that I've had like that, you can always feel the presence of God. So I'd say that was probably a big life changer, because I think that was the first time that I prayed like that, and I was just completely honest. And yeah, I think that was my life changer from camp.
Those crazy harebrained shenanigans. I always enjoy camping.
Mm-hmm. Camping has been a blessing to us, hasn't it?
Yes. And it's a blessing for me to work when I'm going to work Camp Friendship as a floating camp